Today we are diving into Chapter 1 of Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights. Wuthering Heights is a tale of intense love, revenge, and social class, set against the wild backdrop of the Yorkshire moors, where passion and cruelty intertwine, blurring the lines between fate, free will, and the haunting power of the past. So in this chapter, we meet Mr. Lockwood, our narrator, who has just rented a property called Thrushcross Grange in the middle of nowhere. He is tired of city life and wants something more secluded, away from the hustle and bustle of the city, which, spoiler alert, isn't going to turn out to be quite as relaxing as he hopes. Lockwood is writing in his journal, and the year is 1801. He is recounting his first day in the Yorkshire moors. He decides to pay a visit to his landlord, Mr. Heathcliff, who lives at the nearby, ominously named property, Wuthering Heights. When Lockwood arrives at the gates of Wuthering Heights, he is struck by the desolation of the place. It's perfect for a, quote, misanthropist heaven. And he's not wrong. It's isolated, grim, and just a little bit too intense. But Lockwood doesn't mind. When Heathcliff appears at the gate and says little and doesn't shake Lockwood's hand, Lockwood says that he and Heathcliff are, quote, a suitable pair. He even goes as far as to call Heathcliff, quote, a capital fellow. Lockwood seems oblivious when it comes to picking up on even the most obvious social clues. He appears like an outsider, navigating a foreign land without a map. Although Lockwood sometimes misses social clues, he would always hit the like button on this video so that other people can find it. Thank you, I really appreciate it. Now this is where Lockwood's naivete really shines through. He notices a suspicious look in Heathcliff's black eyes. But instead of running for the hills like any sane person, he feels a warmth towards Heathcliff. Lockwood even starts to project a little. He recalls a time last summer when he was on vacation, met a girl, and did absolutely nothing about it. She tried to make eye contact, and Lockwood just ignored her because he was too shy and timid. Apparently, this gained him a reputation as a, quote, deliberate, heartless person. So in his mind, he understands Heathcliff's gruff, standoffish vibe. Lockwood doesn't believe Heathcliff is unkind. He just thinks that Heathcliff's disinclination for showy displays of emotion causes his reserved nature, just like Lockwood didn't return the girl's glance. We'll have to stick around to find out if Lockwood's first impression of Heathcliff as a capital fellow is correct. As a city man thrust into this wild, untamed world of the Yorkshire moors, Lockwood becomes our eyes and ears, our guide to the stormy lives and twisted tales hidden within Wuthering Heights. But the real question is, how reliable is his perspective? Next up, let's talk about the dogs. Lockwood sits near the hearthstone with Heathcliff. Heathcliff isn't much of a conversationalist, so in the silence, Lockwood, being his usual oblivious self, decides to pet one of the dogs, which has its lips curled back. Guess what happens? The dog snarls at him. But does Lockwood take a hint? No. After Heathcliff leaves the room, Lockwood winks at the rest of the dogs, provoking them into full-on attack mode. And he screams for help. Heathcliff walks in, totally unfazed by the chaos. He's like, it's fine, the dogs aren't used to guests. He then offers Lockwood some wine and toast to his health. Now at this point, Lockwood relaxes, he feels better about Heathcliff, and here's the kicker, he suggests that he will visit again the next day. And how does Heathcliff respond? A firm no. Do not visit again. Lockwood writes that he will ignore Heathcliff's response and return the next day. So who exactly is this Heathcliff? Well, we don't know much yet, but we can tell he is a man of mystery. He's unsociable, brooding, and lives at this creepy place called Wuthering Heights, which is built to withstand harsh weather with narrow windows and sturdy walls. The term weathering itself refers to turbulent weather, suggesting the chaos and danger both outside and within. It's like the house itself is a symbol for Heathcliff's personality. Lockwood, with his big city mindset, expects Heathcliff to be some simple farmer. But when he meets him, he's surprised to find that Heathcliff has the demeanor of a gentleman in dress and manners. Well, a grumpy gentleman, but still. Heathcliff's appearance doesn't match the desolate house he lives in. Lockwood also notes that Heathcliff is dark-skinned gypsy in aspect. Heathcliff's complexion is darker than the typical fair-skinned gentry of the time. Gypsy was a term historically used to refer to the Romani people, though it often carried negative stereotypes. These details add an air of mystery about Heathcliff's origins, and implies Heathcliff is perhaps an outsider, both racially and culturally. There's clearly something more going on here, and Lockwood is just scratching the surface. We also meet Joseph, a servant who seems pretty grumpy and unhelpful, and a mysterious woman in the kitchen, who we'll get to know more about later. But for now, we are left with more questions than answers. What are your first impressions of the mysterious Heathcliff? Let me know down in the comments. And if you found this breakdown of Chapter 1 helpful, please hit the like button so that other people can find this video. Thanks, and I'll catch you in Chapter 2.